morning, this is Gurula, and it is Wednesday. And what's really interesting is I think earlier in the week, or maybe last week, I said that we would probably run into trouble on Wednesday. That projection was based on what I saw on some of my charts. And here we go. The VIX is screaming up to 2754, and everything is kind of getting hammered this morning. I think we're going to recover, but man, not a time to be in calls overnight. So Morris, you had asked about this setup. So essentially what I have here is I have these are three separate windows on one screen. And the way I have it set up is I can click on a stock or a symbol in my watch list here, like Apple. It will change Apple in my chart, but it will also give me the Apple options chain over to the right. So you see Apple here is the option chain. So if I click on SPY, it'll give me the SPY chart. It'll give me the SPY options chain. And then if I want to trade any of these, I can send it to what's called the active trader down here at the bottom. I would right click and I would click send to green because I have this selected here as green. I could use any color, doesn't really matter. Not really tied to green, it's just one that I chose. Send to green, and then it places the option I've selected for, in this case, it was the 404 May 20 call for SPY. And that is the 404, I don't know if you can read that, May 20 call for SPY at $7.12. So when the market opens and it starts trading, I get the time of sales and price here in this column. And then I get the bid and ask, the number of orders available, including the number inside here. And the way I have this set up is I use auto send. I don't show it. Let me move it up so you can see it. So I use auto send. And if I click off of this, if I click buy, it would then give me this confirmation screen where I would have to review and confirm. However, that takes a little bit more time than I want. So I have auto send, so I'll just click buy and it puts in the order. So hopefully that's helpful for you.
Very helpful.
Now, if you don't have this, I can share this with you here. So on this screen here, I have, of course, the VWAP, which is the green line. And I have the ATR trailing stop, the 5-day, the 8-day, and the 20-day EMAs, the RSI, and the MACD. But I can easily share this setup with you by clicking Setup, and I'm going to click Share Workspace. So this is it here, Share, and this will give me this link, Open, and I'm going to copy the link here, and I'm going to paste it in the chat, and then you can just grab it whenever you want.
Thank you.
Yep. So using the method we talked about, if the market was open right now, I'd be buying SPY. I would buy SPY based on the fact that, one, we were oversold, we're moving to the upside, and the MACD is crossing to the upside. So that would be a trigger for an entry on the open. And it still may be. So I've got a couple of things on my list here. I mean, Apple would have been, the purchase would have been back here. Charge point, no longer oversold. I'm going to take this off the list. Target got pummeled today.
Pummeled.
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to be holding Target shares. Triple Qs, SPY. We're going to probably trade SPY today. NVDA is currently in the oversold area, but I think the biggest opportunity for us is going to be SPY or the triple Qs today. And it's looking like, let's see, SPY is currently trading at 403.39, so it's down quite a bit. And Apple just got hammered. So I did swing some Apple calls yesterday and I knew better, but I should have hedged my position by selling some calls against it, and I did not. I think ADM might be another to consider. It doesn't really give us any signals until it opens.
We did well with ADM yesterday.
Yeah, I should have gotten in, you know, when we were watching it yesterday morning, should have taken the trade. That would have been the one to take. Didn't like the spread, but should have taken a trade because it really did make a nice move to the upside.
Hey,
So
Richard,
fuel cell, yes, Dave.
yeah, sometimes before these earnings calls, if you'll do you know, like a short straddle, buying puts and calls, it really pays off.
Yeah, I wish I'd done that on on Target.
Every analyst that I've heard is so bullish Target, you know, blah, 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 you know, CNBC, but it adds more value to what you do. I mean, you play the long game with profits, but the short game with losses, that's perfect.
Yeah, I really should have. I mean, I should have looked at that. And given what happened with Walmart, that would have been a really good opportunity. I'm going to take a look today and see what earnings we have this evening, and I may just do that. So I'm looking at this Walmart chart. This looks really nice here. This hammer looks beautiful. Thinking maybe because of what happened with Target, that Walmart might actually move up today because it really took a beating yesterday. A beating. I mean, it gapped down, it opened, looks like around 136.43, and it just sold off from there. So they thought that, you know, all the analysts thought that the Walmart situation was a one-off, but of course, Target indicates that's not true. And Home Depot, the theory is with Home Depot is people are able to take out, you know, second mortgages and buy at Home Depot, and that's not necessarily the case. So you've got a little bit more of an affluent buyer in many cases with Home Depot versus Target and Walmart. But even Home Depot sold off after that nice earnings report yesterday. But it closed right here in a really good position. But it's really down today. After closing at 300, it's down another $6. So yeah, the market's taking a beating today, but this is going to give us some opportunity. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at things that are oversold, and we're going to look for them to turn. And because we didn't get in here, we're going to wait. Ideally, this would have been the spot to get in. And I chose these 4 off of our list because of the fact that they were oversold. And looking at SPY, not surprised by the move up. we're going to wait a little bit. We're not going to rush the move. We've got some resistance here at 404 on SPY. Looking at the Qs, looking at NVDA. NVIDIA might give us the best opportunity here. So we're going to keep an eye out on NVIDIA. And the VIX is holding. And so Apple has made a turn. No indication from the Qs that that is validated. Nothing from the SPY. All right, so the 5-day EMA on NVIDIA is at 176.07. So right now it's look like it's going to bounce off the 5-day EMA, 176.07. And that appears to be what's happening here. So just going to wait and see if the VIX is going to decline. And where there might be some resistance. So it looks like the resistance for the VIX is about 28.21. That's what a 5-day EMA is. I expect it to get rejected there. So it may not be finished with its move to the upside yet. And everything does appear to have resistance. So we see this ATR trailing stop for SPY. And I liked Disney. I'm just going to take a quick look at Disney, and Disney is 107.19. So it's sitting on top of its 5-day EMA. It doesn't have the volatility that I like, but I do like the chart on Disney. I'm not going to trade it, but looking at it's sitting right on top of this ATR trailing stop. So that looks like a really good opportunity to the upside. All right, so we're getting a move on Apple. We're getting a move on NVIDIA, strong move off that bottom. Qs are running into some trouble, and I imagine so is SPY. All right, so the Apple move didn't last long at all. We will not get the opening range placed on our chart until 946 thereabout. Then we'll have established our highs and lows. We're looking at a 2-minute chart. And ideally, if we could get the RSI moving from oversold to the upside and also a companion move on the MACD, that would be ideal before we get the ORB, the opening range established, but I don't know if we'll get that. So right now, we've got NVIDIA above its 5-day EMA, and I'm looking at it on the 30-minute chart, and we have this ATR trailing stop here on the 30-minute. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to add this. Actually, this is 177.04. ATR trailing stop 30-minute.
Sorry about that.
And go back to the 2-minute chart and just kind of see where we are. So that seems to be holding. See if I can mute Morris here.
Oh, no, I actually went off. I'll mute myself.
Okay.
I had to go out.
All right, so we've got this ATR trailing stop resistance here on Apple that seems to be holding. Looking at SPY. Now we've got to move on the MACD to the upside, but we do have, again, this resistance here at 404. So again, ideally, we would have purchased here, but since the market was not open, we're going to wait. I'm going to go back to my original list to see if anything has changed. So we looked at Apple, looked at ADM, Amazon, ChargePoint, Coin, CrowdStrike, and none of these are in the oversold area, it appears. Rivian continues to move up on bad news. All right, so an Upstart appears to be a favorite as well. All right, so we're getting some sideways movement here on Apple. We're going to get a consolidation, which is actually not bad. That's a good thing. We're getting a consolidation on NVIDIA, so we hopefully will establish a fairly narrow opening high and low. Right now it's here and here. Same thing on the Qs, and the SPY is giving way, it looks like. All right, so now we have oversold on SPY. Looks like SPY is going to be our trade here. And what are we looking at? So looking at SPY, the HR is $11. We have a lot of open interest and volume at the 405 level. So we're going to look there at 405. So the 405 SPY call is what we're considering. And we're just keeping our eyes peeled here for an opportunity. Looking at the VIX, again, go back to our daily chart, and we have a VIX target for rejection at 2781. The VIX is currently at 2778. I'm sorry, this is 2831. 2831. So I'm going to mark that 2831. And I looked at EXC last night, and I thought about that as an energy trade. And I think this could be a good trade for long term. So I'll keep my eye on that for my other account. So, all right. So going back to SPY, which is where we are looking to make our move. We've got a deep move here on the downside on oversold on SPY. Now what we want to see is we want to see the MACD start to flatten. We're looking at buying the 405 call. We're looking at the VIX hitting resistance at 2831. 2831. We're at 2795 on the VIX. We'll also keep an eye on these bars as they get darker to see if we can get some indication about what's happening there. VIX is at 2797. Time is 9:43, so in about 3 minutes we'll get some indicators of the opening range on our chart. And let's go take a look at Apple. Not quite in the oversold area. NVDA. Qs are oversold, so that might present an opportunity as well. But we're going to be looking at SPY. That's our choice for right now. All right, so we've got a turn on the RSI, but we don't have any confirmation yet on our MACD. Looks like it's trying to flatten. So we're going to just give it a little more time. So the VIX hit a high of 2797. We think it will get rejected at 2831. If it gets that far, it may not get that far. This should be a good trade on SPY today. So I'm going to go to a 1 minute chart and see if we get a faster signal. All right, so we still don't have a flat MACD yet. It's still pointing down. We do have the RSI pointing up, but now we've got the MACD curling. So we're going to look here to make an entry soon. All right, we got a flat MACD, it appears. The RSI pointing up. I want to give this one more candle. We're going to take our trade here. All right, so now we have also our ORB. So we're going to see how this trade works and whether or not this can hold to the upside. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this fib level. Given the fact that we're down considerably on SPY, and I believe this is going to be a positive day to the upside, given where we are on the gap down. Probably going to stay in this trade throughout the day. If we do anything else, if we make any other trades, it won't be this morning. We'll just wait and see how this plays out. All right, so we made the entry based on the fact that we had this RSI that was showing us oversold and had now turned up, and the MACD was flattening out. And we're looking at a resistance level on the VIX, which we did not reach yet, of 28.31. So there's still possibility that we'll get a climbing VIX and some additional decline on the SPY. And then we've got some candles that signal reversal. We've got spinning top, spinning top, spinning top, are all signaling reversal. Now we have the MACD that's pointing to the upside, and we are hoping to get a cross. So we see we've got the darker red bars here from this candle, and they're getting shorter. We really would like to move above this opening range high here. Certainly like to get above the VWAP. So this green line is the VWAP. The blue is the 5-day exponential moving average. The purple is the 8-day exponential moving average. And the red is the 20-day exponential moving average. This is the opening range high, the thick green dotted line. Opening range low, the thick red dotted line. And the other dotted lines represent fib levels here, here, and here. And this is the ATR trailing stop. So we're currently on a 1-minute chart. I'm going to go to a 2-minute chart. And we're still not quite finished with our downside move yet, which was anticipated. So again, we're looking at the VIX somewhere around 28.31 before it truly gets rejected. If it falls here, then we'd be happy about that. So going back to a chart on the VIX, we do expect the VIX to decline today based on the chart, but it could again rise to this 28.32 now on the daily chart, which is where the 5-day EMA is. But not expecting a lot of trouble out of the VIX today. So we're gonna just watch this consolidation really, which is what's happening right now. If I show you on a 5-minute chart, you'll see this is a consolidation of the SPY. It does have this 5-day EMA that it's struggling with and it will have trouble with. We've got a VIX that is climbing and also consolidating on the 5-minute chart. Struggle between the bulls and the bears. What we would like to see is we'd like to see the SPY climb above the 5-day EMA where it's having trouble right now and find support. Right now, that 5-day EMA is resistance. We still have a flat MACD, which is good. We would love to see the MACD turn up and cross. And we'd love to see that RSI point north.
Again, playing the spike to the upside.
That's correct. Yeah, we're buying calls on the SPY. So we bought the May 22nd 405 calls.
Mhm.
When we bought off that signal of the RSI and MACD. Again, it was oversold when the RSI indicated that it was going to be pointing to the upside and the MACD flattened. That then gave us a signal to buy to the upside. Now, it may very well be that this trade may not last long. We just have to watch and see how it handles, how the SPY handles this resistance. But I think this is going to be a nice trade to the upside today. So for the SPY, the 5-day EMA on the daily chart is at 402.46. So once we get above this fib level here, then we can feel fairly comfortable that the SPY will have support to the upside. There is resistance all the way up right now on the 30-minute chart for the SPY at 403.59, and on the 1-hour chart at 404.12. There's the 5-day and also the 200. So the 5-day is crossing the 50 to the downside, and that would indicate bearish. So we've got this consolidation. So this is not really unexpected. I'd rather trade like this than to chase something to the top. So if the SPY was gapped open and was running to the top, then that would be a bit more challenging. but we do have this struggle. So if you'll see, if you take a look here at the VIX, you'll see what's happening. We've got on the 5-minute chart, we've got the VIX finding support here, or trying to. What we need is for it to fall through the 5-day EMA, but it is trying to reverse here. At the top of this move, we had the red candle, then it's doji, which signals reversal or continuation depending upon the next candle. So it looks like it's going to be a reversal. That's going to drive down SPY. So we think this is going to be a short-lived situation for the day. What I may actually do, I could actually buy some puts rather than selling out of my calls. The SPY is currently back at 27.93. I'm sorry, the VIX is at 27.93. The market's taking a huge beating this morning. That profit taking is not necessarily surprising. So looking at SPY on a daily chart, this looks like it could be a hanging man, but I believe it's a hammer because it's at the bottom of a longer move here. So I think this is, again, signaling still some movement to the upside. And I'm going to stay in this trade a little bit longer today, but I'm not going to take any other positions at the moment. Going to take a look around and see what's going on elsewhere. So Apple, NVDA, the Qs, and let me go back to a 1-minute chart, which is a better view. And SPY. $27.98 is where the VIX is. Again, watching that 28.31 level. Lots of things at session lows in the market today. $28.02 is where the VIX is currently. At least that was the high. It's now at 27.78. So it looks like SPY is holding on this fib level here. Some volume coming in. It's a good sign. Want to see the SPY get above this opening range low, ideally. But this was good volume on the upside, so that's a good signal. We're looking to have some, looking to find support here on this 5-day EMA. Getting rejected here. Looks like we have support. I'm looking at the VIX. We have a falling VIX, but there's support at 27.74. We'll see how the SPY handles this opening range low. That's going to be key. But it looks like we may have bottomed here.
Oh, no.
All right, more volume. All right, more volume coming in. So, all right, so it looks like we may have hit a bottom at $400.87 on the SPY. But again, that VIX still has room to the upside. It didn't quite, and it doesn't have to actually get all the way here to get rejected. This is like a magnet. And so if it's going to reject it, it could happen anytime before it gets here, just like a magnet when you have two polar opposites. And that could be what has happened at 2802. We don't know that, but we know that there is resistance here at 2830 now. So all right, so we're struggling with the opening range low. Looks like we are going to clear it. We need to get above the 50-day, I'm sorry, the 20-day EMA. The VIX is trying to find support on the 5-day EMA at 2773. Actually, it's the 8 at 2773. Looks like it may have. But buyers seem to be coming and propping up the SPY. We've got volume. Looks like growing volume here. All right, so the VIX appears to be falling through the 8-day EMA. And if I look at it on a 5-minute chart using the 5-day, it has fallen below the 5-day. Well, it's finding support on this fib level and the 8-day. So we really need it to fall here and to continue to the downside. All right, so we are above the opening range low, which is good. We've got the moving averages that appear to be lining up. So we've got the 5-day crossing the 20 now. It's above the 8. We need the 5-day above the 20. We need the 8 above the 20 and the 5 above the 8. And then we will feel comfortable that we have the proper alignment for a move to the upside. So looking at my other charts, what we have is the SPY is currently hitting resistance on the 8-day EMA at 402.04. And the VIX is finding support on the 8-day at 27.74. So we just have to work through this battle. This is really just a battle between the bulls and the bears on the open, and we expect this kind of volatility. But satisfied so far with our trades. We do want to stay above this opening range low if at all possible. But we think that we've made the low of the day here at 400.87. Of course, that could all change because we do have, again, 2831 is the 5-day EMA on the VIX. So I'm looking at a doji on the VIX at the top of this move here. And what looks to be a hanging man that's forming. So that would signal a reversal. But there's still a minute, 10 seconds for that candle to close. All right, so we're back down on the SPY. We've got about 30 seconds for the candle to close here on the 5-minute chart, and looking at the VIX, we're still looking at a hanging man candle. The wick is not quite as long as I would like to see it, but nevertheless, we'll take it if it does close there, because that would signal to us that a reversal is coming. All right, so we did get it. So we're looking for a reversal here on the VIX. Our previous low in SPY is 400.87. This candle, the low is 400.94. So we have a higher low. We just want to stay above this low here and not make a new low to have some success to the upside. So we still have a climbing VIX. So we could get a new low on the SPY. If we don't, that would signal some strength to the upside, given the fact that the VIX is moving up. All right, so we have a hammer on the 1 minute chart on SPY. If it was green, I would be a bit more comfortable, but it's red, but it's still bullish. Now, if we can move up and make another high, something above 402.12, then that would give us another signal that we are trading in the right direction. Struggling here with this 8-day EMA and the 5-day EMA. Looking for the VIX to fall below the 8-day EMA on the 5-minute chart. That would, again, give us a bit more comfort. So we did not make a new low. That's positive. We can see here on the 5-minute chart that the SPY is consolidating. So I'm going to draw this consolidation here as a demand zone. I'm going to start the top of this candle and go across. I'm going to take the bottom of this wick, go across and mark this as a demand zone for the SPY. So that zone runs from a low of 400.88 to a high of 401.84. And we need to break out of this. So if we can break out of this congestion, then we should be okay to make our move to the upside. All right, so we have a falling VIX below the 8-day EMA. I'd like to see a little more volume, but we do have, looks like increasing volume here to the upside. But this goal line, which represents average volume, shows that there's not really any real conviction. Yet. So the VIX is hanging on to that 8-day EMA, trying to get above it. What we want to do is we want to see the SPY climb above this VWAP here, because now we're looking at a lot of resistance at this level. You've got the 402.58 where the ATR trailing stop is as a fib level at 402.71. And then we've got the VWAP at 402.69. So that's a lot of overhead resistance. If we can break through, then we'll be okay to the upside. So we're actually looking pretty good here on the MACD. It's just a lot of volatility. We did not make a new high, so that's a bit concerning. I want to see a new high here. I want to see the SPY get above like 402.12. I'm going to mark that 402.12. Still in this consolidation. The VIX is still struggling with the 8-day EMA resistance, trying to get above it. Like to see it get rejected and those sellers get out of the way. So looking at SPY on a couple of different time frames. It's a 5-minute chart here. Again, we're stuck in a consolidation here. There's a 30-minute view where we are below a lot of resistance to the upside. Same thing on the 1 hour. And also on the 4 hour. but we're anticipating being able to get above all of this. Again, we made our decision to enter the trade based on the fact that the SPY was oversold back here. The MACD, we thought, leveled out. It didn't cross. We ended up oversold again. And then we finally got this leveling and then a crossover here. So what I did, I actually added to my position at these levels here when it was oversold again. So we're going to sit in this today, and we're going to let it play out and think that we're going to have a positive result. And we do believe that we have hit the bottom today for SPY, which is at 487. We did not make a new low here. We are above the opening range low. And what we really need is we need to make another high. We need to get above 402.12. All right, so we do have a falling VIX. No real conviction though on SPY. Still in this consolidation, or what I would consider to be a demand zone. I do believe this is where buyers are and have stepped in. And let's just take a look at it again on a 5-minute chart. It becomes quite clear. So once we're out of this zone and above, we should be good. We've got declining volume on the downside, so that's good. We want to see volume start to come in now and pick up, ideally. So right now we're just going sideways. And I think the whole market is essentially doing the same thing. Looking at one of my other accounts, and apparently this morning I gave back everything I gained yesterday. All right, so we've got look like a hanging man on the VIX as it is hitting resistance. So that should be positive. So this is, let me go to a 5-minute chart on the VIX. So this is the VIX here, what I saw a few minutes ago was this hanging man. Now it's actually starting to fill in on the body, but it was hitting resistance. So that was I thought, a positive sign for our move to the upside. And it was briefly here. But again, we just still are dealing with this struggle. So we're holding the lows of the day, which is good. But we really want to get out of this congestion. And it just requires patience. Because the problem is we are trading out of the money options, and this is just costing us money. This is time. So I have a rising VIX and a rising SPY. That's an interesting combination. All right, so VIX is falling. All right, so we just, again, we need to see some volume. All right, so we're at 10:26. I'm going to sit in this trade today. And I'm looking for a positive result. So what I will do, if we don't see a breakout here out of this consolidation before 10:30, I'll keep everyone posted via text messages. But this was good volume, almost average volume here on this upside move. But if we look at this again, it's just, we're stuck in a consolidation is where we are. But I view this as the SPY is being accumulated here. That it's being bought here. And at some point, it's going to move off this bottom. So it looks like, again, 402.72 might be a place of challenge. We're currently at 401.39. And if we get to that level, I may have to consider, and we're talking probably right here, but I'm looking at the 30-minute chart. And this seems to be a huge area of resistance. So that's going to be a critical level for us today. All right, any questions about what's happening here, about what we plan to do today with this SPY trade?
No, not at all.
All right, well, we're at 10:30. So again, I will keep everyone updated via text messages, and I will be just watching my screen. We've got a climbing VIX. So again, look at VIX at 28.31 as a possibility. We just made a new low. So we're breaking out, but we're breaking out to the downside. All right. We will talk soon, and I will again keep you guys posted. Have a great afternoon, and we will talk soon.
Thanks,
Hey.
Richard.
All right.